Science experiment gone wrong from things that are doing in space. Hit Earth. Thing experiment affects a few animals. The gorilla is one of them. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is, what is he? He's a zoologist or something?
He's a primatologist.
He loves gorillas, so he wants to look like one.
He's a big fan of the gorillas.
So he works out so much.
No, but he, he's this guy, who's a former soldier who doesn't do well with people. This gorilla was almost like his little child.
The thing about Dwayne Johnson as a performer to me is like, no matter what backstory you give him, he always has the same level of charisma. Like, you're the most well-adjusted introvert. He only wants to spend time with his dogs.
Antisocial dude I've ever seen.
Great with people.
Hey, Reject Nation. We're just three friends hanging out on a couch who want to talk about a Dwayne Johnson movie, Rampage.
Rampage.
Oh.
This is CortneyWright.
Hello,
You can follow her on Instagram and Twitter. That's John Humphrey.
Still.
I'm Jabby Kawai. Happy to be
Are
here.
you now?
And I'm a Char.
Why, Char, your hair's gotten so long.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I always liked the stubble you had, Char, but the beard's better. So normally what we do for our movie reviews is we break them down in reasons to see and reasons not to see, but because there's three of us and it's a non-spoiler, that would just be way too long of a video and too complicated for three people to get all on the same page about everything. So it's just gonna be a free-flowing review today. How about we kick it off like this for just general overall opinions? Here are Stardust reactions for you guys.
Hi, I just saw Rampage in Real D 3D, and I gotta say, it made the movie for me. Watching that and all the creatures in all their glory was fantastic. And I highly recommend this film. It was a great time. You're gonna love it.
Alright, if you guys have seen a trailer for this movie and you wanted to see a charming rock bomb with a charming white monkey and then also have some awesome monster action, this movie gives you what you're expecting and what you're looking forward to. And you gotta commend it for that. While there are some flaws that, we could definitely touch on, at the end of the day, what you're going in for, you're gonna get.
It's a live-action cartoon, and if you're into that kind of thing, you'll probably have fun. So, check what you saw.
3D, real D. Real D. So Courtney apparently might have liked it more than us.
I did.
What was your, Courtney, how'd you feel about the movie overall?
I had a great time. I thought it was a lot of fun. For a video game movie, I thought it was very well done.
Okay.
Because a lot of times video game movies just kind of fall flat on all levels. But I liked the writing, the acting, the monsters.
At the end of the day, when you watch the trailers for this movie, you go in there going, what do I care about? I want to see a charming Dwayne Johnson. I want to see some cool monster action. You get that. At the end of the day, you do get that.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things in between that I just don't like. I think what surprised me about the film in a really positive way was how much I cared about his relationship with the main gorilla, George.
I agree. Yeah.
The white gorilla. Racist. Right? Am I right?
Albino.
They just had to make him a white.
Tobias Whale.
Albino. It's probably safer.
He's interacting with this CGI gorilla. What sells it is his performance. The CGI and all the everything done with the gorilla sells it too, but as the human character who has to really believe he's interacting with his gorilla, he really sells it. Things start happening to George and he starts getting bigger and gets more rageful, and then he's getting hurt by it and he really cares. He just wants to protect his friend. He keeps calling it a friend, not an animal. That level of concern, I was feeling that. All within the first half of the movie, I care about the situation at hand.
Yeah,
I do.
he really did a good job of creating a persona for this gorilla. He did use the word friend. I think sign language helped him.
Yeah.
Because if you're just acting with like a yellow tennis ball, if you're still doing the sign language, it connects you in a way I think that's different than you're just actually talking to it and imagining that it's there.
And there's some cool monster action in here too. You got what, two other monsters?
You got George, Ralph, and Lizzie, man.
Yeah.
You got the wolf and the gator.
Yeah.
Midway Games named them. In fact, at one point in the movie, they do nickname the wolf Ralph. They never.
Oh, they do. They don't never explain that. I didn't even realize that.
It's just a nod to the game.
Yeah.
To me, the first half of this movie is significantly better. With the giant wolf, there's a really cool sequence that they do there. There's a point around Act 2 and then through most of Act 2 where I was really checking out and was rather bored. Maybe even a little bit earlier, you spend way less time with the monsters. the giant animals. You spend way less time with them. It's a lot of humans. And I just thought a lot of that was really dull. Whenever they try being more than a cheesy movie is when I thought this movie started lacking. Because I thought the tone, I had a feeling we were going to have like our disagreements. I thought the tone was inconsistent. It seemed like there were times where the director knew what he was making, and then there were times where I felt like the people were unintentionally laughing at the movie.
I did find both kinds of laughs, yeah, because I felt like each set of human characters was kind of in a different movie, a different tone. Some of them matched a little better than others, but yeah, there were times when I was like, this seems a little bit too silly, or this is trying to sell me something serious that I don't believe.
When you know the film wants you to start taking it a little more serious is when I couldn't buy it.
I guess that is what helped me kind of buy into it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
His opinions
I'm
are
just
subjective.
Saying. Yeah, I mean, you know,
No,
we
mine's
can
the
agree
right
to
one.
disagree. Look at you, mine's the right one.
Yeah.
That gave it a step up above a regular video game. They did try to create something in order to give the audience an actual movie as opposed to just throwing some animals that are really tall against a building.
I heard a criticism of Pacific Rim 2 that like the story starts to get in the way. And so when I was watching Rampage, I was like, oh cool, they kind of did enough science, at least for a little while. I felt like they did enough trying to ground this in some kind of cartoon reality that I was like, cool, you did a little bit of explanation for this to make it a little bit more real world. But there were times where I thought they just went a little too far with that, to making it a little too real or trying to be too heavy with that stuff.
See, I get what you're saying. Like, I am all for someone's intent. It's just more of what's being expressed, like how I'm responding to what I'm actually seeing is a different experience.
So like, just be a video game movie.
After a while, it did start to feel that way, where I'm like, why are we spending so much time with these humans and trying to make this a deeper movie than it needs to be? It could have been spread out better in terms of how much we see the monsters, how much action we get, because there's a large chunk where you get like no action, and it's just human stuff. And the human stuff is nowhere near as intriguing as the monster stuff. And the monster stuff includes The Rock talking with George.
In terms of video game film, like, I guess I'm thinking about the last Tomb Raider that just came out. Did you feel like that was too much story?
No, but that's a different type of
human-driven
adaptation. Because that's about humans. And I showed up to watch silly giant monsters kill each other.
Yeah, and Tomb Raider comes from a game with a lot of story, a lot of lore.
Okay.
Rampage comes from you just climb up
Rampage
buildings.
is like 2D arcade game.
Okay, if it had just been like The Rock standing in the middle of a city and some animals come out of nowhere.
No, the issue is
he had to save the world.
The issue is not with what they wanted to include. The issue I had is the tone. That's where I felt like the tone was inconsistent, because there were so many times where everyone in the theater was laughing, where I'm like, I can tell you're trying to be serious right now. There are plenty of times where it's like, oh, that's very intentional. Like, I think the villains get a lot of crap in this movie.
That's what I was just about to say, because I think they were comical, and I don't think they were supposed to be.
See, that's where we got confusing, because there were times where I was like, oh, they're definitely comical, and there were times when I'm like,
because they
I don't know if they're
like,
comical.
For me, it felt like I don't know if they were directed that way, or if they didn't truly buy into the film that they were a part of.
I think
but
that's a Brad Payton thing.
They really didn't gel with everybody else. Everybody else believed the film they were in. The Rock, Naomi Harris,
Negan,
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Good guy Negan's in
this.
Yeah.
Everybody was so committed to like saving the city. These two were just like caricatures of like Boris and Natasha
and they're
from
so
Bullwinkle. I mean, they're so bizarre. Like, I was like, what is happening?
That's why the tone would have kept annoying me. In the opening of this movie, it is like serious. Like the prologue is serious.
It's intense.
And then suddenly they'll have shit that's like super goofy. But then, whoa, we're really serious again. Oh, now we're goofy? It was kind of a roller coaster of goofy with seriousness. I'm the kind of guy that can throw logic way out the window when it comes to a movie like this. But when you have enough scenes where you clearly want to be taken more seriously, then I start to apply logic and rationalization to certain character choices and reactions that occur in the finale of this movie that we can't get into because it would spoil it. Even you're admitting that they were trying to be more than just some video games. There's a lot of people that we were talking with afterwards who felt similar, but there's a lot of people who felt the same way you did, which is, oh no, I just had a really fun time.
I just had fun.
For me, the fun was really up and down. I would go from having fun to not having fun and kind of bored to having fun and then, okay, I'm bored again. And then the finale is like, fun, Okay, but this film was going on way too long. Like, that's like essentially my adventure with this movie was just a big roller coaster of having fun and then really bored. Like, it was just a mismatch of that. I think overall, if you see a trailer for this movie, what you're looking for, you will get. And even if it's unintentionally bad at times, it's still fun because of that. And I'll say that.
Yes.
It's still like schlocky in that way,
Yeah. And I think that's what left me with an ultimate sense of better will than not, is like most of the movie played to me like a live action cartoon, and you know, a good amount of the time that was fun. There were times when it kind of started to drag for me and I was like, okay, I get it, let's clip this along. But overall, I mean, if you can get down with a popcorn cartoon in the theaters with The Rock, then I can't see why you wouldn't enjoy some of this anyway.
So Courtney's right.
I think it's fun.
Yeah. This is a serious movie. This is the next Last Jedi.
This is gonna tear friendship.
It's the second to Last Jedi.
You stand up, Courtney. That's good.
I do what I can.
All right, guys. Well, that's our non-spoiler review of Rampage. I do feel weirdly compelled to do a spoiler talk of this video.
Some passionate opinions.
You got some passionate opinions about Rampage and how you should handle these kind of movies. Subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell. Check us out on Patreon. More importantly, follow our good friend Courtney Scott Wright on Twitter and Instagram. Links to her social media in the description box. She posts regularly, and that's all she cares about in her life is her social media. So make sure to follow her as soon as possible. Help her deal with her social media addiction. Thank you.
By feeding it.